And welcome to another episode of Ask a Grimm. Yeah, not really a whole lot happened this month, but October's looking to be a pretty interesting one, and I say that largely because I have a 9-page script. But before I get into that, we got some questions to answer, and by we I mean me. Anyways, thank you all so much for asking your questions, I really do appreciate it. So let's get started. CaptainSmartiyePants asks, have you seen the trailer for Godzilla -1? Did you see Dragon Ball Z Abridged Buu Saga, Team 4-star? Favorite and least favorite Sonic bosses? Any thoughts on Noah Samson? Will YouTube return from what it was back then? And did you think that making Goku an alien was a mistake? Alright, we got some good questions here, so let's go down the list. I have not seen the trailer for Godzilla -1 yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. I have seen the Buu Saga portions. It's some pretty good stuff, but I can honestly understand why Team 4-star didn't fully do the Buu Saga. Because it's like, there are some really good moments here. Especially like with the moments with Majin Vegeta and Goku.
Listen to me, Kakarot! I fucking really...
Arguably the final Spirit Bomb, I want to say. Though to be fair, this question was asked before Part 2 was released. However, there would also be a shitload of slog, so I can understand the reason to do just portions instead. Like, I get that. That's fair. Because, yeah, there'd be some really good bits. There'd probably also be a really, really big amount of, like, slog / unfunny bits. Because, well, like they said themselves in a previous video, they were experiencing burnout at that point. Favorite and least favorite Sonic bosses. Oh, there's a lot of those, so I'm gonna just pick my all-time favorite and my least favorite for this. My favorite regular Sonic boss, probably Final Shadow from Sonic Adventure 2. Either that or Giganto from Frontiers. That was some good stuff. Least favorite Sonic boss, I would say, took me a second to look this up. Wyvern was the name. Yeah, fuck Wyvern. This thing is just a test in fucking futility / patience. At least with every other boss, you can at least fight the goddamn thing. The problem with Wyvern is you have to wait until it launches its missiles, and then you can parry it, and then you gotta parry it again, and then beat the crap out of it. And I'm saying this from experience recently, because I played the new update, and one of the fucking trials, and that has you fighting all the goddamn bosses again, and Wyvern just... Anyways, so I would probably go with Wyvern. If not that, I would go with probably the boss of the desert zone from Sonic & Knuckles, because that boss was just not fun. Noah Samson, they exist. Not gonna lie, this is the first time I'm hearing about this though, so I don't really have much of an opinion. Do I think YouTube will return from what it was back then? I don't, but what it is currently, it's not the worst. It could certainly be better, I'll grant you that, but it can absolutely be a lot worse. As for Goku being an alien, honestly, I think the decision is fine enough conceptually, because they were going to run out of stuff eventually, especially since the original story was effectively Journey to the West inspired, so they would run out of stuff eventually. Unless they wanted to go with the Son Goku multiple degrees of immortality thing, which I don't think they're going to do that, ever. So I can understand the idea of going into space. Like, it opens up a lot of possibilities, opens up a lot of new storylines. Admittedly, a lot of those weren't good, but that's hindsight for you. But the initial idea, or change, yeah, I think it was a good idea. AJustice90 asks, thoughts on Vanamelon? Any Digimon you want to see in the next Digimon story game? What do you want to see more, Mega Man X9 or Legends 3? And which filler from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Would you rather watch? Doma's Arc or the KC Grand Prix, either subbed or dubbed? Vanamelon is fine. I don't really watch a lot of their content, but as it is, they're fine. As for Digimon I want to see in the next story game, Gamamon.
You so fucking precious when you smile.
Honestly, I want to see X9 just because I really hope they can actually make some good trait changes to the fucking formula instead of just reusing the same shit over and over and over. And I already went over that in my video. I'm not going to repeat myself there. And for the Yu-Gi-Oh question, I'm going to go with the Doma arc. KC Grand Prix for me has 2 good moments, and the rest of it is just dog shit. The first good moment, Kaiba versus, I think his name was Siegfried, the guy in pink. I think that was his name. Siegfried. That fight was pretty good. Second good moment, probably the final battle. Like, that was a neat little change. But everything else just honestly sucked ass. Especially with the treatment of Joey/Jonachi. That's just... no. With Doma, however, there's a lot more interesting concepts presented in that. Like Yugi's first loss, the corruption by the Orichalcos, the backstories of the new villains, the whole Atlantis plot, the Great Leviathan. It has a lot of interesting stuff to it. It wasn't handled the best, but it was handled a lot better than Casey Grand Prix, personally speaking. Sister Bay Bob asks, have you heard about heel versus babyface getting pissy over Starfield over pronouns? Did you hear that YouTube is taking down Jonathan Young's anime covers? Did you hear that Roblox will make a dating app? How would you rate the Dragon Ball movies from worst to best? Did you play Mischief Makers for the N64? And worst boss from the Mega Man X series? I have heard of heel versus babyface's video. In fact, I made a shitpost out of it, which I may actually throw up in editing, we'll see.
There is nothing I love more. Top of my headphones. I love to sit on my PC, fire up a brand new RP. Fucking pronouns! I love nothing more than Drag California, Bethesda Waffle, and Fantasy. Sorry, boring!
I have heard that YouTube is taking down Jonathan Young's anime covers, although that's not fully accurate. It's more so that because he's uploading anime covers on the channel, it's fucking up his spot in the algorithm, so Jonathan's choosing to take them down and put them on one account. But yeah, I've heard of it. The Roblox dating app is fucking stupid. Like, guys, 17 is still under the age of majority. Like, what the fuck are you doing? As for Dragon Ball, I've only really seen Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, so I'd have to rank those. As it is, Resurrection F is the worst one I've seen, and at the top is Battle of Gods out of the two, because I haven't seen the other ones. I did not play Mischief Makers, unfortunately, but I may give it a shot in the future. I mean, it's taken me years to get through Sailor Moon, and I've constantly heard recommendations for Jet Force Gemini, so it's not a matter of I don't want to get into it, it's a matter of I will get to it eventually. I just have a big-ass backlog, which is a pain in the dick. Worst boss from the Mega Man X series. Rangda Bangda from X5, because they managed to turn what was honestly a alright boss fight in the first game to absolute bullshit in the fifth game, because with that one they just cranked the difficulty up to 11 for no fucking reason. It's fucking stupid. Aunt ASD asks, have you played any of the Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon games for PS2? Did you play Enchanted Portals? If so, was it good? Did you see the trailer for The Boy and the Heron? And have you heard that Chris Chan is back with her mother? No, I'm not joking. I specified her because that is Chris's current pronouns. I may not like Chris either, but I will respect their pronouns regardless. I just want to clear that up. But let's get to the questions. I haven't played any of the Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon games for PS2. By that point in time, when those were being released, I was more so on GameCube and just constantly playing a bunch of Sonic games, or Smash Melee. Like, I was mainly a GameCube person. And even outside of that, I didn't own a PS2 until Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, so it would also be then. I may check them out eventually. I've heard some decent things about it, but I haven't played them, no. I have not played Enchanted Portals. I've heard nasty things about it, so that's not exactly a good sign. But no, I haven't played it. I have seen the trailer, and it looks alright. And as for the Christian bit, I have heard that. It's fucking stupid. Jesus goddamn Christ, people. What the fuck are you doing? KillJin asks, any thoughts on the Bakugan franchise? Have you seen Sailor and the Seven Balls? Did you listen to Red Flag's official video? Any thoughts on Huey Toonmore and Animat? Did you play Mortal Kombat 1 2023? Favorite Bugs Bunny episodes? What happened to Don Bluth's Dragon Lair movie project? And have you played Shakes and Fidget? I honestly don't have much thoughts when it comes to Bakugan. By the time the original series aired, I was aging out of that period of watching Beyblade-like series, so your battle beat-em-ons and the like. So by the time Bakugan aired, I was like, yeah, I'm not interested in this. I did catch a couple episodes at one point, and they were fine, but it wasn't really jiving with me, to put it nicely, or to try to sum it up as best I can. Yeah, I just wasn't vibing with it, basically. But, hey, more power to the fans, and hey, they're still getting stuff nowadays, so that's really good to hear. Even if it's not for me. I have not seen Sailor and the Seven Balls, but I have heard horror stories. I'm not going to watch it, though. Fuck that. Red Flags, I've seen the video. It's a thing. It exists. It's fine. I used to watch Huey Toonmore back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. but they were alright, and I don't really like Animat. I haven't played Mortal Kombat 1, but I have heard really good things about it, so that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. I think they finally turned it around after what happened with MK11. Favorite Bugs Bunny episodes? Of course, gotta love the classics like Wabbit Season, the original episodes involving Wile E. Coyote, those are some good ones. And that's just off the top of my head, but those were pretty good. Dragon Lair movie project, last I checked, it was basically being revisioned into a live-action movie, but I don't know much else about that. It could just still be in production, because, well, if it is animated, or even if it's live-action, stuff like that still takes a lot of time to get done, so that's probably why we haven't heard much of it. It's probably still being produced, and they're still trying to figure out what's going on. As for Shakes and Fidget, no, I haven't played it, but I'll add that to the backlog. For1 asks, any thoughts on Dominic Noble? Hardest Mega Man boss ever? Hardest Dark Souls boss? Have you seen Duck Dodgers? And did you see Wisecracks? They're sorry, who cares? Dominic exists. I think I recall their video on the 50 Shades series, but that was about it. Not really much else about them. But, yeah, they exist. Hardest Mega Man boss? Rangda Bangda from X5. Just, it's one of the hardest, and it's also one of the fucking worst. Jesus. Anyways, so I'll go with that. Dark Souls boss. So, I've only played the first 2 of the Souls series. I have not touched 3 yet. The fucking Hydra from the first game, just, I would say that's the hardest. I guess a close second would be the 4 Kings, but I would go with either of those, honestly. Duck Dodgers, I saw a few episodes back in the day. They were fine. I haven't seen the full series, but from what I've seen, it looked pretty good, so one day. And yes, I did see Wisecrack's video. It was fine. Shuiro Fantasma, sorry for the butchering, asks, have you heard that Steve Hatwell passed away? Any thoughts on biblically accurate angels? Have you watched Sausage Party? And if you did, what's your opinion on the movie? Which version of Batman do you think is the best? Opinion on Vivzy Pop, and thoughts on Growing Around. I did hear that Steve Hatwell passed away, and yeah, that kind of fucking stung. At the very least, he's not in pain anymore. But yeah, I heard. As for the biblically accurate angels, it exists. It's a little weird, but that's kind of the point. I have not watched Sausage Party, much like with the 7 Balls thing. I've heard horror stories, but no, I haven't seen it. As for my favorite Batman, probably a tie between the Justice League and Unlimited version, or the one from The Batman, because that one I did see. I haven't seen much of the 90s version, although the 60s one was pretty good. Vivzy Pop is fine, I want to say. I still have not checked out Hell of a Boss, but Has-Been was fine, and save for the occasional dumb tweet, I think Vivzy Pop is alright. Thoughts on Growing Around? It existed. It wasn't really my cup of tea, though, but it existed. Commando Big Lady Officer asks, any thoughts on Beowulf? How would you rate all the Fallout games from worst to best? Worst and best MCU movie? Did you hear that Faye Ghost is back on Twitter? And favorite werewolf designs? I haven't read or watched Beowulf, but it looks promising, so another backlog entry. As for Fallout, so full disclosure, have not played 3 or 76. I've only played the first 2 and New Vegas as well as 4. That also means I have not touched the spin-off, so no Brotherhood of Steel or Tactics. So, worst, 4. The story of that was so fucking stupid, and the game was a goddamn mess for me. I also wasn't a fan of the whole shelter mechanic, or where you build your own compound / I guess civilization? The name escapes me, but that one, basically. Following that, I'm gonna go with Fallout 1. Like, it was the main idea was there, it's solid, it's great. It also suffers a lot from first game syndrome. After that, I'm gonna place the second Fallout game in second place, because I think it improves on a few aspects for the better, obviously. Much like Gen 2 of Pokemon, but also much like Gen 2 of Pokemon, it also introduces a bunch of things that I do not jive with. I don't think some of the characters are handled all that well. I think the gameplay can be a little bit brain dead at points, mainly with the AI. there would be moments where the characters are trying to kill you, and then they just walk away, and then just walk back, and I'm like, what the fuck? Aren't you trying to kill me? Stuff like that. And I also wasn't a big fan of the villain, but then again, it's kind of hard to top the Master from the first game in comparison to the villain of the second game. But, yeah. And then after that is Fallout New Vegas. I had so much fun with that game. I had so much fun putting in so many hours in it. I had much more fun with the story, the antagonists, the different styles. It was good stuff. Favorite MCU movie is going to be the original Iron Man. That was some good shit. Least favorite is, funny enough, Iron Man 2. Just, what a fucking letdown. I did hear Fagos is back. God fucking damn it. And my favorite werewolf design... I haven't seen much werewolf stuff, so I'm probably gonna go with Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf. The name almost escaped me for a second. But that one was cool. I liked the werehog design a bit. That was kind of cool. But that's about it. Wigowitch236 asks, have you heard that EDP has been caught doing inappropriate things to minors again and has made a terrible response to Gideon? I probably butchered that one. Any thoughts on the upcoming movie Madoka Magica with
Valpurgisnacht
Rising? Because I am not going to pronounce that correctly. Do you have an opinion on the creepypasta character Zalgo? Thoughts on Just a Robot? And have you heard of the YouTuber Kumo Commentary? I did hear that EDP got caught again. What the fuck is going on, legal forces? Can you fucking throw his ass in prison already? Jesus Christ, there's a mountain of evidence on his ass. Anyways. As for Madoka Magica, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. And now there's two Homeras running around. Great. My favorite. Fuck. But again, more power to those who are a fan of the property and are excited for the movie. I'm just not one of them, but hey, I'm not gonna shit on your happiness. Feel free to enjoy the movie. As for Zalgo, or Zygo, I've honestly never heard of them before this, so they exist. Jar, they're fine. I'm not really much of a fan of their Disney content, because they can kind of say some really stupid shit. But as a whole, I think they're fine. As for Kumo, yes, I am very much aware of this person, and I'm not a fan of their content. Their attitude also just does not vibe with me. Xans Priness asks, did you play any of the Fallout games? If you heard that Chris Chan's out of jail again, have any thoughts on The Matrix? Favorite Persona boss? Did you see Josh Scorcher's top 10 worst video game villains and Josh ranting about superhero secret identities? And favorite YTP video? Well, like I said in a previous question, I've played 1, 2, 4, and New Vegas. I have not touched 76 or 3, nor have I touched the spin-offs. But yes, I've played the Fallout games. Again, I've heard that Chris Chan's out of jail, and it's fucking stupid. Jesus Christ, people, she committed a fucking crime. People who were caught with weed have served longer fucking sentences than her. Anyways. Matrix. Heard about it. I've never watched it. So another entry for the backlog in the future, because I do want to check it out eventually. Favorite Persona boss. Takeshi from Persona 5 Royal. I think that was a decent match against equals, and I think the boss fight was overall fun, so I'll go with that. I saw his worst video game villains, and it wasn't my cup of tea. As for the superhero identities, no, I haven't seen it, because I think the discourse just got really fucking stupid after a while, so I've just kind of tuned out to a lot of those videos. As for my favorite YTP, I don't really have one. There's a lot of really good ones for their own different reasons. Some just because the sentence mixing was really good, some is the editing, others is the jokes. Like, there's a lot of really good ones. So off the top of my head, gotta go with the classics. I had a Ouija. A lot of the Barney perverted YouTube poops like Band Geeks have aged pretty well. Like, and I'll occasionally quote those every once in a while, such as, is penis an instrument? No, Patrick, penis is not an instrument. Not the way I use them. Stuff like that. But I don't really have an all-time favorite, because there's a bunch of really good ones for different reasons. Robin Crusoe Jr T asks, did you hear that Yandere Dev is a groomer? Have you seen the trailer for Netflix's Tomb Raider? Any thoughts on Sergeant Ducky? Did you watch the Cowboy Bebop anime and movie? And have you been on a bar, or I'm assuming at a bar? I did hear regarding Yandere Dev. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god. As for Netflix Tomb Raider, I have not seen it, but I've heard good things about it. Hopefully that's a good sign. As for Sergeant Ducky, they exist. I don't really have much else in terms of thoughts on them, though. Have I seen the Cowboy Bebop anime? Yes. Have I seen the live action? No, and I don't plan on doing so. As for the anime movie, no, I actually haven't seen it yet. One day, though. And have I been to a bar? No. It's not really my thing. Sexy Foxy Lato, Commander number 1235 asks, what do you think of Genndy Tartakovsky's Surprisingly, I can pronounce that correctly. Anyways, R-rated film fixed. Did you hear that Grey Delisle bought AI art? Which story that has been done on Superman do you think was the worst? Any thoughts on the Birdman? Favorite South Park episode? And did you play We Happy Few? I have not seen anything related to this fixed film by Genndy Tartakovsky, but if it's anything like his other works, like Samurai Jack, it's probably good. I don't have much else in terms of thoughts of it, because this is the first time I'm hearing of it. Grey Delisle buying AI art. So, isn't this the person who literally bitched at somebody for using AI voices? You fucking hypocrite. You fucking hypocrite. Holy shit. Anyways, so, yeah, not happy. Which story that's been done in Superman do you think was the worst? Honestly, I'm gonna go with Superman Doomsday. Like, first off, they fucking rushed through the goddamn Death and Return of Superman, but it also just completely missed the point of Superman's character. They treat him as a fucking god in that, and it's like, he's not. He's not supposed to be a god. Anyways, I'll go with Doomsday. Birdman. I've seen a couple of their videos. They're fine. Not really much else about them, though. Like, they exist. Favorite South Park episode? Probably the one, I think it was Gayfish, the one with Kanye in it. Obviously, that one hasn't aged well, considering what Kanye has done, but the initial episode, that was pretty good. I'm not really much of a South Park watcher, though, so I can't really say much of it. And have I played We Happy Few? No, I haven't. And the final set of questions comes from Playgirl AHJ. Have you heard what's going on with Unity? Which Pokemon Gym Leader is the most difficult? And any thoughts on Undertale? I have heard what's going on with Unity, and Jesus fucking Christ, like, that... On the one hand, it's hilarious to watch them crash and burn. On the other hand, it's fucked up that they're doing this to just fuck over everybody. Just, what the fuck? Like, how do you get away with that shit? Jesus. Like, that's fucked. Most difficult gym leader. Okay, so, for me, I'm honestly gonna go with Sabrina from the original Gen 1 games, because in that one, it was basically a case of, oh yeah, did we mention psychic types are bullshit? So I'm gonna go with Sabrina from that, because it was a lot harder to counter her. Now, in later games, like Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Let's Go, she's a lot easier. Thank fuck. But in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow, a lot harder to take down, because busted psychic type. As for Undertale, I like Undertale. Really good time. Probably not my all-time favorite, but it was good. I had a good time with it. I'm interested to check out Deltarune, but I won't be touching it until the game is finished, so not anytime soon. And those are all the questions I have for this episode. So once again, thank you all so much for asking your questions. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you next month for the next edition of Ask a Grimm. So, if you want to see your question show up on the next episode, absolutely feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to see them. Until then, I gotta get working on that 9-page script to record. That's gonna be fun. Have a great day, everyone.